Joining us now, friend of the show, Monday morning regular. You hear him right here every morning on Mornings on the Mall. Joe diGenova, legal analyst, former U.S. attorney to the District of Columbia. Joe, good morning.
Good morning.
One of the things that I really wanted to get to, because I don't think it got a lot of play this weekend, and I think it's important, is the president tweeted about some Hillary Clinton emails that were never looked at. And he said the FBI only looked at 3,000 of the 675,000 crooked Hillary Clinton emails. We think he's looking at, and people are saying he's looking at a report done by Real Clear Investigations, where it says that when James Comey sat in front of Congress and said that thanks to the wizardry of technology, the FBI could eliminate most of those emails because they were duplicates. According to Real Clear Investigations, that's not true. The FBI just ignored these emails.
Well, it shouldn't surprise anybody that Comey lied about the conduct of the FBI. He's done that repeatedly, and he's been protected by Mueller, and I'm sad to say by Jeff Sessions, who refuses to investigate past FBI and DOJ behavior of Lynch, Comey, Yates, and others. The truth is, every one of Hillary Clinton's emails, and this is what Real Clear Investigations doesn't say, but it's one of the reasons for the basis for their story, is all of Hillary Clinton's emails, including the 33,000 that were deleted, are stored in a computer at NSA. Anybody who is serious, and that would include the current Attorney General of the United States, could get those with a judicial warrant, subject to a grand jury subpoena or otherwise. They're all there. Every one of those emails is at NSA at Fort Meade. That said, what Real Clear Investigations pointed out is something that we've all known, that it was a slipshod FBI investigation of Hillary Clinton, purposely done so according to the struck text pages. So while it's an interesting story, it's a nothing burger. We already know this.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff, though, to hear that. I want to ask you about a lot of dramatic changes to Lanny Davis's statements over the course of the last week. Also dramatic. They all work in Trump's favor somehow. And it's amazing the press coverage that he got when he was attacking the president versus the press coverage he's getting for his walkbacks. Here are the three walkbacks. Cohen never went to Prague, as the dossier claims, and Lanny says, in fact, that the dossier is false 13 times, at least regarding Michael Cohen. Now Lanny Davis saying the dossier has credibility problems. Lanny Davis also saying Michael Cohen didn't actually know that he's not actually prepared to tell Mueller that Trump knew about the Trump Tower meeting in advance with Don Jr. and Natalia Veselnitskaya. Also, Lanny now changing his story, saying that Cohen probably didn't actually have info on the Russian hacking in advance, despite the fact that Lanny last week was promising that he was going to provide that information. All of these seem to be dramatic walkbacks, Joe.
Well, they are. And what's happened here is that what happens even to seasoned people is the headiness of an event like the Cohen guilty plea in New York, which was done very, very quickly by investigative standards from the time of the raid on his three properties to the time of his guilty plea. And it was clear that the campaign violation that was thrown in was a gimme, which, of course, is not a violation of the law, according to everyone who does FEC work. And I think Lanny just got ahead of his skis and a little heady with the atmosphere. He kind of became the current Carl Bernstein of the world, just sort of frothing about this. And he just got carried away. He was with friends at CNN, and, they love him. And so he misspoke. And I think he's an honest enough person to realize that he was hurting himself and not helping his client.
Yeah, but is he helping his client if the accusation is on page one and it's huge news and everybody reports it, but yet the retraction then is on, at the back of the paper?
Well, I mean, obviously it's never going to get the coverage that it deserves because the mainstream media is totally corrupt politically. But I think he's done a lot of damage to himself and his client as a result of it. Even CNN will be careful about what they ask and what they put on the air. And Lanny's now going to be extremely careful. He disappeared, there for a while, and that was because of a gag order issued by the federal court in New York.
Yeah. What do you make of the president sparring with Jeff Sessions and Jeff Sessions hitting back, actually swiping back a shot across the bow at the president last week?
Well, I think Jeff Sessions made a number of mistakes last week, the final one being issuing that statement saying that his decisions and those of the Justice Department would not be influenced by politics. Here's an announcement for Jeff Sessions. The president was being critical of you, not because of your politics or your political decisions. He was being critical of you because you have not investigated past or begun investigations of past FBI, DOJ misconduct, which should have been an automatic for any new attorney general, given the weight of evidence that is on the public record. That's what the president was talking about. And Jeff made the terrible mistake of converting it into a fake argument that the president was trying to put political pressure on him. It's not political pressure when you're the president of the United States and you're the chief law enforcement officer. You're telling the attorney general there's something that should be investigated. By the way, I was in Montgomery, Alabama on Tuesday night giving a speech to a huge audience of government, civic, and business leaders. The first question from the audience after my speech was, what did I think of Jeff Sessions? I then said, good man, wrong job. And then the rest of the questions for the evening were about Sessions and his inability. They are embarrassed by him down in Alabama. It's fascinating. It's a sad story. I mean, it really is. It's just he's a good man, and he's in the wrong job, and he doesn't know how to deal with it. I thought it was fascinating that Lindsey Graham announced over the last few days, and I spoke with Lindsey on Thursday, that if the president nominates someone to replace Jeff after the election, he will, Graham, as you know, will become chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee in January if the Republicans hold the Senate. He told the president that he will hold confirmation hearings for anyone the president sends up.
Yeah, beginning to seem like that's increasingly likely by the day, especially last week after last week's activities. Real quick here, Bruce Orr is set to give behind closed door testimony tomorrow. Are any sense or any expectations for Bruce Orr and what he'll say to the House?
I expect him to give us a Peter Stroke, and that is the reason he has been kept an employee at DOJ is that he can be ordered not to answer questions. Rosenstein has ensured that he remains an employee of DOJ for the very reason to prevent him from giving information to the House committee. This may be the Waterloo. If Bruce Orr is stopped from testifying, which is what I am told is the reason he is still an employee, if they prevent him from answering questions, I think it's going to be a very ugly week for Rosenstein. I hope Rosenstein reconsiders and allow Bruce Orr to answer fulsomely. If he does not, it will be right at the fit of Sir Rod.
Well, you heard it right here. He'll have Joe diGenova saying he'll have Justice Department lawyers right at his wings telling him, don't answer that. And we'll talk to Joe more about this next week. Thank you, Joe.
You bet.